Welcome back, everybody. It is Wednesday. We have made it halfway through the week. So we are going to go ahead and continue with writing and graphing ordered pairs on a coordinate grid using numerical patterns. So just to get our brains warmed up, first thing you're going to do is plot the following points on the coordinate plane or on the coordinate grid. So you're going to plot 3, 6, 7, 2, 0, 9, 9, 1, and 5, 5. All right, so let's look at our problem today. It says a science class uses salt and water to make a saltwater battery. The table shows the amount of salt needed for the amount of water that is used. And I see in my table that on the top row, water is measured in cups and salt is measured in teaspoons. So now I need to figure out how the amount of salt needed relates to the amount of water that's being used. And my sentence stem on the right-hand side says the amount of salt needed increases by blank teaspoons as the amount of water increases by blank cups. So let's look at salt first, and let's see if we can figure out a pattern within the amount of salt that's being used. So salt is on our bottom row. I start at 0. I go to 4, to 8, and then to 12. So I know that my numbers are increasing, and if I remember, increasing numbers means that I either add or multiply. So I know that 4 times 2 gives me 8, but 8 times 2 does not give me 12. So I can't multiply to find my pattern. So I'm going to have to add. So I need to ask myself, how do I get from 4 to 8? I add 4. So 4 plus 4 is 8. If I add another 4, that gives me 12. So the amount of salt needed increases by 4 teaspoons. Now we need to figure out the water. Water starts at 0 and goes to 3, to 6, and then to 9. So again, it's increasing, so I can multiply or add. And I know that 3 times 2 gives me 6, but 6 times 2 does not give me 9. So I need to do addition for this one as well. But I do know that 3 plus 3 gives me 6, and 6 plus 3 gives me 9. So the amount of water increases by 3 cups each time. Now, what are the ordered pairs represented by this table? Our water is going to be our x coordinate, and our salt is going to be our y coordinate. If I took the numbers from our table and just put them in parentheses to make them the coordinates, I have 0, 0, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 9, 12. Now it's your job to plot those points on the coordinate plane. 0, 0, 3, 4, 6, 8, and 9, 12. Plot those points on the coordinate plane. Moving along, I want to know if the class used 15 cups of water, how much salt will they need? So I have my table of water and salt up above, and I know I'm going to have to continue my table. So I need to find the water. So I know that my pattern for water is adding 3 each time. So 3 plus 3 is 6. 6 plus 3 is 9. I need to add 3 to 9 to get me 12. Add 3 more gives me 15. Salt, I remember my pattern is to add 4. So starting at the 12, 12 plus 4 is 16, and 16 plus 4 is 20. So that means if the class uses 15 cups of water, they're going to need 20 teaspoons of salt. Moving on, We have Alexander and Eliza are writing number patterns. Alexander starts with 1 and uses the rule multiply by 2, then add 1. Eliza starts with 2 and then uses the rule add 1, then multiply by 2. So I've made my table on the side. Alexander's column is on the left. Eliza's column is on the right. So let's start with Alexander. Alexander starts with 1 and then uses the rule multiply by 2, then add 1. So if I start with 1, multiply that by 2, that gives me 2, plus 1 is 3. Follow the same rule. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7. Keep going. 7 times 2 is 14, plus 1 is 15. And then 15 times 2 is 30, plus 1 gives me 31. Moving on to Eliza. Eliza starts with 2, and her rule is add 1, then multiply by 2. So if I start at 2, I'm going to add 1. That gives me 3. Multiply by 2. 2 times 3 is 6. Keep going with that pattern. 6 plus 1 is 7. Times 2 is 14. 14 plus 1 is 15. Times 2 is 30. And 30 plus 1 is 31. Times 2 gives me 62. It is your job to write down the first 5 ordered pairs with the X coordinate representing Alexander's pattern, and the Y coordinate is going to represent Eliza's pattern. Now, do you notice a relationship between Alexander's numbers and Eliza's numbers? If you do notice a relationship, what is it? Eliza's numbers are double Alexander's numbers. So if I multiply Alexander's numbers by 2, I should get Eliza's numbers. So Alexander has 1. 1 times 2 gives me 2. That's Eliza's number. If Alexander has 3, 3 times 2, and that means Eliza has 6. Alexander has 7 times 2, that means Eliza has 14. Alexander has 15 times 2, that means Eliza has 30. And then Alexander has 31 times 2 means that Eliza has 62.